Assets only, no liabilities.
Once you get $1,000, don't run to Gucci and blow it on an ugly shirt like my bro cousin Bunty does. Instead, let's talk about how you can turn the $1,000 into $2,000 or $5,000 or maybe even $10,000 or more. Building wealth is the art of multiplying your money. When you go to work, you are exchanging your time for money. If you don't work, you don't get paid. When you're trying to build wealth, now your money is making you money. If you don't work, you still get paid. Now, I know your time is valuable, and that's why in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can start building wealth with your $1,000. Number 1, move your money to a high-yield savings account. This step is not going to make you rich, but it's better than you blowing your money on some ugly shirt. If you take that $1,000 and you don't spend it, instead you move it to a high-yield savings account. These are banks that are paying out higher rates of interest. Let's call it 3 to 4% a year in interest. Now what you're doing is, number 1, you're not spending the money, because if you go out and you buy an ugly shirt, and we can call it a shirt, we can call it a vacation, we can call it a car, we can call it a fancy night out. All this money does is go away. Because once you spend the money is gone, you're not gonna get it back. Now what we're doing is we're not spending the money, moving it to a high yield savings account where at least you earn something. We'll call it 3 to 4% a year, which is not a lot of money. Okay, I'm not saying this is going to make you rich, but we're talking about $30 to $40 a year for doing nothing except moving this money to a high-yield savings account, which is a bank account. Make sure it's FDIC insured. Make sure it's a legitimate bank, because there's a lot of crap out there. But now at least you're earning something as a way to get started. Number 2, invest that $1,000 into your own education by reading books. Let me show you how you can get an MBA level education at the fraction of the cost of getting a real MBA. If you go out and read 5 books on money management, then you read 5 books on personal development, then you read 5 books on successful people and their biographies, then you read 5 books on leadership and or sales, and then you read 5 books on how to start a business, you are going to get a wealth of knowledge, an MBA level of education at the fraction of the price. And now what you can do is you can start learning, that way you can start earning. See, the mistake that some people make is they just want to go out and earn money. But I think it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad's author, Robert Kiyosaki, who said you want to learn before you can earn. Because once you know how to learn, well, now you can earn a whole lot more money, and you can take the $1,000 and start investing it in your knowledge. That way you can start earning some more money as well. Now, if you say, well, Jaspreet, what should I buy? Read whatever you want. Go to Amazon, find 5 books that have the top ratings, top reviews in each one of these, and go out and read whichever sounds most interesting to you. There's a ton of books out there. Start reading, and once you start reading, you'll start learning, and you'll start seeing what you're more interested in, and you will open up your mind to a whole new world of possibilities. This is what changed my life, because I didn't grow up learning about money. I grew up in a very traditional immigrant household. My parents are immigrants from a state in India called Punjab. They came to America and they told me, Jaspreet, I have 2 options. I could either become a doctor or I could become a failure. Those were the only 2 options I had growing up. I knew nothing about investing. I knew nothing about entrepreneurship. I didn't know what real estate investing was. I had never heard the word dividend before. I didn't even heard the word entrepreneurship until I went to college. Then I started reading books. Started reading books about money management and investing and real estate investing. And that blew my mind, because these were concepts that I had never been exposed to before. I had no idea what financial education was. I had no idea that you could change your wealth with what you do with your money. I just assumed that if you got good grades, you're going to make more money. But this is where your books can show you a whole new world that you've never been exposed to before. And it's a very cost-effective way to start learning. That way you can start earning. Number 3, put that money to work in the markets. I talk a lot about financial education and investor education on this channel, and the reality is the way that most people are going to build wealth is by investing in money. Most people are not going to become a business owner. Most people are not going to inherit the money. Instead, most people are going to work a job, take some of the money that they invest, and invest this money into something like the stock market. And over time, if you stay consistent with your investments, you will build wealth. That has been a time-tested and proven way for the average person with an average salary to build a lot of wealth. But that requires you to get started. But there are 3 factors that will determine how wealthy you will become. I call it TRM: time, return, and money. This is what's going to determine how wealthy you become. Time is how much time your money is invested for. That means the longer your money is invested, The sooner you start investing, the wealthier you're going to become. We can't go back and start investing 5 years ago, but you can start investing today, which is why it's so important to get started. You never hear people talk about, I wish I started investing later. Everybody says, I wish I started investing just a few years sooner, because it can change how much wealth you're going to build. Number 2 is return. Return is how fast you can grow your money. The faster you can grow your money, the faster you're going to double your money, the faster you're going to get rich. And the way that you get a better rate of return is by investing in your financial education, by investing in your investor education. That's reading books, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, taking classes, and making mistakes. That's the part of the process. You got to make those mistakes, because those mistakes, it's how you learn. I have made so many mistakes in my career, from business to investing, but I've been fortunate to learn from them. And then, of course, money. The more money you invest, the wealthier that you can become, because now you have more money working for you. And so if you want to become wealthy, you have to understand how these 3 things play a part in one another, but you want to get started with your investing career sooner rather than later. That way you can start building your wealth. Now, let me give you a few options of ideas that you can consider investing in. Now, of course, I'm not telling you what to invest in. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a random guy on YouTube, and investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. Here are a few popular ETFs that you can consider investing in. They give you broad exposure to the United States economy and the stock market. Number 1, VTI. This is an ETF, meaning fund, that gives you exposure to the total stock market. So if you invest in this one fund, well, now you're investing in the total stock market, all the companies that make up the United States economy in the stock market. Number 2, SPY. This gives you exposure to the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in the United States stock market. So if you just want to invest in the successful 500 companies, this is one ETF that gives you exposure to that. DIA, this gives you exposure to the Dow Jones, one of the most popular indexes, meaning groups of stocks out there. QQQ, this is an ETF that gives you exposure to the NASDAQ. This is a group of the 100 largest non-financial companies. So these are a lot of tech companies in this fund. NOBL, this is an ETF that gives you exposure to dividend-paying companies, meaning companies that pay you a dividend, pay you a cash check every 3 months just for owning the stocks. But not just that, these are dividend-paying companies in the S&P 500. So you have these 500 largest companies in the stock market. Some of them pay a dividend. This is investing in those. But a little bit more narrow is investing in the companies in the S&P 500 that pay a dividend, that have increased their dividend every year for at least the last 25 years. So it's investing in dividend aristocrats in the S&P 500. Those are companies in the S&P 500 that pay a dividend, that have increased their dividend every year for at least the last 25 years. So if you're interested in cash flow, again, one example. There are so many ETFs out there. This is just one way to get started, as a few examples, and you got to find what's right for you. Now, if you want to be a smarter investor, one of the best things that you can do is just keep up to date with what's happening in the markets. And you can go out and read all the press releases and spend the time doing that. Or the second best thing that you can do is read something like Market Briefs, which is a free financial newsletter that my team at Briefs Media publishes 6 times a week. It's a daily breakdown of what's happening in things like the economy, the stock market, the housing market, the crypto market, and the global economy into a fun and witty and easy to read newsletter. It is completely free, and it's a super fun newsletter. We have hundreds of thousands of investors that read Market Briefs every morning. So if you'd like to join Market Briefs, I got the link for you to join down in the description below. Now here's the key of how you succeed here, because the mistake that so many people make is they take the $1,000, they throw it into one of these ETFs or a different ETF, and then they wait. And now they'll wait to get rich. But that's not how it works. The way that you actually get rich here is by following what I like to call a CPA strategy. Now you might have thought I was going to say ABB, but they go hand in hand. ABB stands for always be buying, but CPA stands for a consistent, passive, and automatic strategy. So the way that I like to do this, because I invest into funds and I invest in individual companies, but when I'm investing passively into funds, I want it to be consistent, passive, and automatic. The way it works is you find a brokerage that allows you to do this. There's a ton of them out there. And then you find a cadence. I do every week. Every Wednesday, money leaves my checkings account and is automatically invested into my portfolio of ETFs. It's passive and automatic, meaning it happens no matter what. It happens if the stock market is crashing. It happens if the stock market is booming. It happens if the stock market is not moving. And the reason why is because a lot of people start to panic when markets go down, and then they stop investing. Maybe that's when they start selling. But that's the time you want to be buying, assuming you're buying a good investment. So CPA, you're consistently, passively, automatically buying, but you also want to remember ABB. B, always be buying. Meaning you buy no matter what. You buy when markets are going up or down. You buy with whoever's in the White House. You buy with whatever's happening in the markets. You just keep buying. That's how you win, and you stay consistent for decades. That's how you build a lot of wealth. Start with that $1,000 and then you keep consistently investing, and that has been a proven system to build wealth, especially if you're investing in a broad basket fund in something like this. This has been proven decade after decade for the last century as a true wealth building strategy. Now, does this mean the stocks always go up? No. We've seen markets go up and down. We've seen 16 recessions in the last century. But despite that, you've seen the stock market go up by around 10% a year on average. And that's enough of a return, that's enough of an R to make you a millionaire, assuming you have enough time to invest.
He said 16 recessions in a century. So if you so scared to invest your money, people still getting rich off the stock market, right? 16 recessions, people still getting rich off the stock market.
And assuming you have enough money, if you're investing $100 a month, you need about 45 years at the 10% to become a millionaire. If you invest more money, you need less time. If you have more time, you can invest less money. But the key is just to get started and keep consistently investing your money. As you make more money, keep investing more money, but get started because this is the way to win. Now, the reason why I'm talking about these is because it's harder to pick the right stocks. Not impossible, but it takes more work. And the mistake that a lot of people make is they say, how do I find the next Apple, the next Nvidia, the next Amazon? And they don't want to actually put in the work to research. They just want to find the next hot stock to hopefully just buy and make a lot of money in 6 months. That's a lot more difficult. I'm not a trader. Trading is not the game that I play. I'm not against you going out and investing in individual companies, but I just want you to understand that it comes with more risk. More risk, more potential return, but it does take more time and effort, which kind of goes beyond the scope of this video. So let's go on to number 4. Take that $1,000 and use it as seed capital to start your next business idea to start making a whole lot more money. Let me show you. I'll give you a few business ideas to spur some ideas, and then I'll run through some numbers to show you how you can turn this into a real business, starting with $1,000 or less. So here's a few ideas. Number 1, you could be an Instagram lead generator or create an Instagram lead generation business specifically for realtors, because realtors are always looking for people who want to buy a house, and they're always looking for people who want to sell a house. And if you're good on social media, you're good on Instagram, you're good on TikTok, well, now you can go to these realtors, show them how you can create content, or maybe you create the content for them, showing them their beautiful houses, and get people to watch them and give you their email address. And if you can do that, well, you'll be able to make a lot of money. Number 2, you can become an AI consultant specifically for attorneys. As an attorney who's not your attorney, what I can tell you is that there's a lot of busy work that's required to be an attorney. And some of the busy work is just doing a lot of research, which can be done very quickly with artificial intelligence. And guess what? You have a lot of older attorneys out there, even younger attorneys, but we'll focus on the older ones who have no idea of how artificial intelligence work. And if you can become an AI consultant for those attorneys who have the money, but they don't have the time, well, now you can come in with the time and they'll pay you the money to show them how to do that and help them with that consultant to do their research through artificial intelligence. Number 3, you can help run Facebook ads for dentists, maybe chiropractors. They need customers. And if you're good on social media, if you take a couple classes on how to run Facebook ads, YouTube ads, whatever else type of ads you want, and you know how to drive leads or customers for local businesses specifically, you can go to those dentist offices, you can go to the chiropractor offices and show them how you can drive them more business and in exchange for more money. We'll talk about the numbers in just a minute. Number 4, these both apply for executives and professionals that have money but don't have time. You have the time, but you don't have the money. Number 1, you can walk dogs. What we have seen since the pandemic is a lot of people got dogs or cats. But the nice thing about dogs is they got to be walked. And a lot of these professionals got dogs, and now they're going back into the office. They don't got time to walk their dogs. This is where you can come in. You can walk their dogs, get paid to do that, or you can wash cars. If you can find doctors, attorneys, executives, they probably have a nice car. They don't want to drive around in an ugly car, but they don't have the time to go out and get it detailed. So if you can go to their house or their workplace and detail their car, they will pay you a premium to do that. Now, let's run through some numbers. Business ultimately comes down to the numbers. So let's assume that you can go up and try to contact 10 potential leads a day. That's 10 potential realtors, 10 potential attorneys, dentists, executives, whatever, 10 a day. That's your minimum goal, which is what, 50 a week, or we'll call it 200 a month. You're gonna go out and contact 200 of these people every single month, and let's assume that only 20 of them actually set up some sort of meeting with you. So you get 10% of them onto some sort of meeting, which is 10%, and out of the 20 people that you can set up meetings with, you only close 1 because you suck at selling. So if you close one, that's a very low close rate. You're closing at 5%, but that means you get one sale a month. Now, if you could do one sale a month, you have the opportunity to build a pretty profitable business, because here's what you're going to do. You're not going to charge these businesses $10 or $100 or $1,000. What you're going to do is you're going to get them on a subscription of $1,000 a month. So now, you got them on a $1,000 a month plan to do any one of these things. You can do $1,000 a month for the Instagram lead gen, $1,000 a month for the AI consultant, because they're going to need your work consistently. So why charge them just one time? Now, maybe if you're walking dogs or washing cars, you adjust the price depending on how much of the service you're actually providing, but you get the idea. Now, you charge that $1,000 a month, you close one business this month. Next month, you close another business. The month after that, you close another business. Well, you can start to see what's going on. You're starting to stack that income. You take that $1,000 that you have, maybe you build a nice website, you build a nice logo, you build a nice social media presence, and now you maybe invest in a class to learn how to do what you're doing, and then you go out and you attack the phones. And now once you got the first client, you get them to become a testimonial for the second, you get the second testimonial for the third. Once you get a few testimonials, now you're off to the races. You do this for 12 months where you just convert at these, which is really not aggressive, this is pretty conservative. You convert at these numbers. At the end of the year, you got a $12,000 a month recurring revenue business. Even if a couple people leave, that's a $10,000 a month business you started from your $1,000 small investment. This is where it helps to understand the different types of opportunities. And these are just a couple of ideas. Go out and come up with some of your own ideas as well. There's an infinite number of opportunities, but find a way to create a value for a busy business owner that has money, a busy executive that has money. They have the money, they don't have the time. You have the time, you don't have the money. How can you two come together to solve that problem? Because if they can give you money, you can give your time and you can solve a problem for them. Either you can save some of them time, or you can find a way to add more money into their business. Both of them are worth them to give you their money. And finally, option number 5 is to take that $1,000 and use it as seed capital to pay down your other debts. You have a car loan, you have student loans, take that $1,000 to pay it down, because here's the thing. If you have a loan that's charging you 6% a year in interest, if you can pay it off 1 year early, that is a guaranteed 6% return on your money. When you invest your money in the stock market, you're trying to hopefully get at least a 10% return a year. Some years you're going to get more, some years you're going to get less, some years you're going to lose money. But with this, you get a guaranteed return. If you can pay off your debts, you get a guaranteed return, and it's also the lowest risk. Obviously, you're not going to get a 25% return by paying off your 6% debt, but you get a guaranteed return to pay off some of the debt. And if your goal is just to be financially free, it's one way to relieve a lot of the financial stress, because now you can have less money going out once you reduce the amounts of debts that you have. And with that, now you have 5 different ways that you can invest that $1,000 to turn it into something a whole lot more, maybe relieve some financial stress and start putting some more money in your pocket. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these 5 are you the most interested in? Let me know down in the comments. Is it putting your money into a high yield savings account? Is it going out and buying some books? Is it putting your money into the markets? Is it starting a business, or is it paying down your debts? Let me know down in the comments. I'm excited.
It's a lot of good information, y'all. Hope you're paying attention. Let's get this money. Assets only, no liabilities.